Now, what is heat transfer first? Basically, heat is transferred from higher temperature to lower temperature by following three ways. The first one is radiation, second one conduction, and third one convection. We have to learn all the three ways of transfer of heat one by one. Now, first we start. So, heat transfer by conduction, then convection, and then radiation. Now, here in a same diagram, you can see all the three modes of transfer of heat. You can see here, so this is a conduction. So, you can see a rod which is placed on a fire. Then the heat is transferred from this end to the means one end to another end. So, this is the conduction. Now, you can see here, so here heat is transferred by convection also. So here hands are above the fire and how the heat is coming towards the hand. It is by the convection. And here heat is coming by the radiation. Now what is actual difference between these three? So we have to cover one by one. So then you come to know what is exactly mean by radiation, convection, conduction. Now conduction first. In conduction, it is a process of transfer of heat from one place to another place without movement of particles. So this is very important word. Without movement of particle. Means when we are heating a rod, one end we are heating and the heat is transferred to the another end. So in that whole process, the particles of rod are not moving. So without movement of the particles of the medium, and that transfer of heat is conduction. In this process, the heat transfer takes place by molecular vibration. Now here you can see some example of conduction. Cooking is an example. Means in that we are we are heating a pan, and then due to that heat is transferred to the food. Another example you can see for the conduction. Now basically in that conduction, in conduction we have to learn one article, and it is thermal conductivity. Before that thermal conductivity, I want to tell you one thing here. So generally steady state means what? So what is steady state? So for that I consider one example. If this is a rod, we place 4 thermometer on the rod. So thermometer 1, thermometer 2, thermometer 3, thermometer 4, and then when we heat one end of the thermometer, then the temperature of all the thermometers start rising continuously. After some time, all the thermometer attain a constant temperature, and that is called as steady state. That is called as steady state. Now here, one more term we have to introduce, and it is temperature gradient. Temperature gradient. Temperature gradient is a rate of fall of temperature with distance. So rate of fall of temperature with distance is the temperature gradient. So when we are looking on the thermometer, the here temperature in thermometer 1 is greater as compared to 2, and 2 is greater as compared to 3, and 3 is greater as compared to 4. So here temperature decreases here. So why this temperature decreases? Because some heat is lost in the surrounding when they attain a steady state. Means we are giving the same heat here, but same heat is not transferred to the another end. Now here let me cover the next article, thermal conductivity. In steady state, the heat transferred. So here the word steady state means when a temperature attained by all the thermometer is same. The quantity of heat conduct by any metal is directly proportional to first point. area of cross section. If I consider the quantity of heat conduct Q, then it depends on cross sectional area of the conductor. Cross sectional area means the thickness. So more the thickness, more the heat it conduct. As compared to wire, rod conduct more heat because cross sectional area is more. Second one is temperature gradient. So just we discuss temperature gradient. Temperature gradient means change of temperature with distance is the temperature gradient. And third one, time for which heat is conducted or time for which the conductor is heated, the small t. So if we combine all these three, then we get Q proportional to A proportional to d theta by dx into t. Means here we can write quantity of heat conducted proportional to cross sectional area proportional to temperature gradient proportional to the time. Now we put the constant here. So constant is K and the other term as it is. So Q is equal to K A delta theta by delta x into T, where K is a constant and called as coefficient of thermal conductivity. So K is equal to Q upon A delta theta by delta x into T. So this is the formula for coefficient of thermal conductivity. We can define the coefficient of thermal conductivity by using this formula. Q is quantity of heat. A is cross sectional area. Delta theta by delta x is temperature gradient. And T is time. So you can define it like this. Quantity of heat conducted per unit cross sectional area per unit temperature gradient per unit time is the coefficient of thermal conductivity. Now question based on this previous article is SI unit of temperature gradient. Now here temperature gradient is given by formula delta theta by delta x. Delta theta is the temperature divided by distance. Unit of temperature divided by unit of distance is the answer for this question. So SI unit of the temperature is Kelvin. SI unit of distance is meter. So Kelvin per meter is the answer. And it is Kelvin meter raised to -1. Now next question. Amount of heat conducted through a metal is directly proportional to. Just we learn in the thermal conductivity article, quantity of heat conducted directly proportional to cross-sectional area, directly proportional to temperature gradient, directly proportional to time. So all three are the right options. So the more accurate option is all of the above. Now next question is coefficient of thermal conductivity. Try to recall the concept. Then definitely you're able to answer this question. Therefore, this thermal conductivity is constant. So it does not depend on anything. It depends on the body. So it depends on nature of material. Means for copper it is fixed. For steel it is fixed. So it does not depend on dimension. Independent on dimension. So these two are the right things. So more appropriate answer is answer 3. You can see here different substances and their thermal conductivity. So here you can see silver, the thermal conductivity is 406 joule per second. Copper 385, aluminium 205, steel 52.2, insulating brick 0.15, glass 0.8, brick 0.8, water 0.8, wood 0.04, and air 0.024. These are the thermal conductivities. Now you can see here, the more the thermal conductivity for silver, silver having a highest thermal conductivity. Then after that, copper, then aluminium, and then steel. These are the values of thermal conductivity. So it means that if we use silver utensil to make uh, uh, for cooking, then it carry more heat. Or you can see many utensil whose base is made from the copper. Silver is a costly, but the copper is a less costly as compared to the silver. So many utensil, kitchen utensil, you can see their base is made from the copper because of very high thermal conductivity. Now, based on the previous knowledge, can you answer this question? It's a base conductor of heat means whose thermal conductivity is more. And the answer is silver. You can see here the table. The thermal conductivity of the silver is highest. So it is a means it is the base conductor of heat, and the answer is silver. Next question. Dot dot is used at the bottom of cooking vessel because it is a good conductor of heat. Obviously, whose thermal conductivity is good and which is cheaper also. That metal we are using at the bottom of your kitchen utensil, and it is a copper. So silver is very costly, and we are not using generally use silver because it is a very high cost metal. Dot dot is a bad conductor of heat, and the answer everyone know, wood is the bad conductor of heat. Iron, copper, gold, these are the metals, so obviously they are good conductor of the heat. New article we have to start, and it is thermal resistance of conductor. Now what is thermal resistance? The opposition of body to flow of heat through it is called as thermal resistance. Since if body oppose the heat, then we can say that body having a thermal resistance. So let me consider that. So P conduction is the conduction rate, and it is amount of heat transfer per unit time. It is energy transfer per unit time. Which energy? Heat energy. Through a slab of area A, and the thickness is X. The two sides of slab being at a temperature T1 and T2. T1 is greater than T2. Then P conduction, just we discussed, P conduction is heat transfer per unit time, Q by T. And by the formula of coefficient of thermal conductivity, this Ka delta, this theta divided by delta X into T. This is the formula of Q. By that formula, Q by T, we can write Q by T is equal to Ka, then delta theta divided by delta X. Now same formula, here temperature we are written T1 and T2. So delta theta means difference in the temperature, that we are written T1 minus T2, and delta X we are written X. So the same formula we are written here. So P conduction is equal to Q by T is equal to Ka T1 minus T2 divided by X. Now here T1 minus T2 divided by P conduction is equal to X upon Ka. You can see here. So this P conduction is equal to Ka into T1 minus T2 divided by X. Now here this Ka and x is shifted to this side. X upon Ka is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by P conduction. So you can see this formula here. So therefore, we are using analogy between electrical resistance. Now, what is the resistance? Now, let I use different color pen here. So electrical resistance. Resistance means what? V by I. V is what? Potential difference divided by current. Now here, it is the electrical resistance. It is thermal resistance. So T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2 is a temperature difference. V is a potential difference. T1 minus T2 is a temperature difference. P conduction, the rate of heat flow, and I is what? Rate of flow of charge. I is the rate of flow of charge. In electricity, charge is there, and in here heat, it is the flow of heat basically. P conduction is rate of flow of heat here. So that everybody know P conduction is Q by T. So here this term is analogous to the resistance. So here this is called a thermal resistance. So we get a formula for thermal resistance. So this is the formula for thermal resistance by using analogy. Thermal resistance is X upon Ka, or we can write thermal resistance is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by P conduction. So this is the formula. The dimension for thermal resistance is, so this is the dimension. M raised to minus 1, L raised to minus 2, T raised to 1, K raised to 1. Now, how we get this dimension? You can obtain the dimension by using a dimension of this. Now here, T1 minus T2 having a dimension. So let I write here dimension of this. T1 minus T2 is K raised to 1 divided by P conduction is the dimension of Q upon T. Q means energy, L2 M1 T minus 2 divided by T is a T1. So after solving this, whatever we get is the dimension of this thermal resistance. So L raised to minus 2, M raised to minus 1, T raised to minus 3, and K raised to 1. So this is the dimension. You can see the same dimension here. Now the question is, what is the dimensional formula for thermal resistance? The thermal resistance is given by formula T1 minus T2 divided by P conduction. So obviously you able to answer this by using this temperature dimension K raised to 1, P conduction is L2 M1 T minus 2 divided by T1. After solving, whatever you will get, it is a dimension of thermal resistance. And it is option C. So after solving this, you get L raised to minus 2, M raised to minus 1, T raised to 3, and K raised to 1. So this is the dimension. Now next question is, SI unit for thermal resistance is. Try to recall this, and the answer is Kelvin per watt. The thermal resistance is T1 minus T2 divided by P conduction. So it is Kelvin. P conduction is Q by T. P conduction is Q by T, and it is Q is joule per second, and joule per second is called as watt. So Kelvin watt raised to minus 1. Convection. Now what is convection? The process of heat transfer from one place to other place by actual movement of particles of medium due to difference in density is called as convection. Convection is predominant in liquid. The process of heat transfer from one place to other place by actual movement means particle take the heat and it goes from one place to another place. That process is called as convection. So generally it is observed in liquid. Now convection. Convection is natural, means classified into natural convection and forced convection. Now let's see the example of both the natural and forced convection. Natural convection. So transfer of heat due to movement of fluid resulting from difference in density is called as natural convection. It is because of difference in density. The example is hot air rises by natural convection. So listen, if this is a surface, so here air gets heated as initially when the sunlight heat incident on the surface get heated, then the air molecule closer to surface get heated. As it gets heated, its density decreases and shifted to up, then colder molecule is coming down. So this is the process. It is because of difference in density. Now sea breeze. Sea breeze is example of this natural convection. It is because of a difference in the density. Land breeze. Land breeze is also example of natural convection. Now cold breeze moves from sea to land. Now you can see here sea breeze. So cold breeze moves from sea to land during day. Generally, during daytime, the land is heated quickly. So here, whatever the air present, its density decreases and shifted up. As the air molecule shifted up, and because of that here, the colder molecules of air shifted towards the sea to land. So the flow of air is like this, sea to land in during the daytime. But in the night time, opposite to that, night time what happened, the land cool faster, so it is cool faster and water take time to cool. So here, so near the water, the air molecule gets heated, it is shifted up. So here the air flows from land to sea and it is called as land breeze. It is occur generally in night time. Now another example is when vessel containing water is placed on fire, then water is heated by natural convection. Means when the gas, we are heating the liquid. Now here the air molecule, this liquid molecule gets heated and it is shifted up. Its density decreases, it is shifted up. So when you observe here, if you place two thermometers, this is thermometer 1 and this is thermometer 2, then thermometer 1 and thermometer 2. So in that also, so thermometer 1 shows more temperature as compared to thermometer 2 because water molecule as it get heated, it is shifted to the top portion. It is shifted to the top portion. So here we can say that a convection is occur. Now forced convection. So many example of the forced convection we can give. So hot air in contact with the radiator of car will thrown away by forcing air using a fan. Now you know that every automobile means every car having its cooling system and it's a forced convection basically. Now cooling of room during summer, it's a forced convection, means we are forcing this convection. by a mechanical means, by using a cooler, by using AC, etc. Exhaust fan is also example of forced convection. Ventilation in house is example of forced convection. Now, which of the following is example for natural conduction? Which of the following is example of natural conduction? Think on this question and answer it. It is convection. So land breeze, sea breeze, both are natural convection. So answer is C. The forced convection of blood in our body by the heart helps in keeping ... of the body constant. And here the answer is temperature. Listen, body also having some forced convection to means body its own cooling system. So that cooling system keep the temperature of the body constant, and it is a one type of forced convection. Now next one is a radiation. Now what is radiation? Radiation means the process of transmission of heat from one place to another without necessity of materialistic medium is called as radiation. In this process, heat transmit in the form of electromagnetic radiation. The radiation, by virtue of its temperature, is thermal radiation. That radiation is called as thermal radiation. All body emits thermal radiation. All body means human body also. Our body having a temperature 37 degrees Celsius. So our body also emit radiation. So when many persons are coming in a single place, so that time, so everybody emits the radiation, and the maybe the temperature of that room increases slightly, and suffocation, maybe person can feel a suffocation of air. Example of radiation. You can see some pictures in that they are the example of radiation. Means from sun, sunlight is coming to the earth, it is in the form of radiation. The heat is coming from sun to earth, it is in the form of radiation. Now some question based on that. Which of the following is the fastest process of heat transfer? I hope everyone understood which one is the fastest process. It is a radiation, because it does not require medium. In conduction, heat is transferred from one particle to another, and another particle means second to third, third to fourth particle. In convection, heat is carried by actual migration, but in radiation, it is without medium.